Hello, my name is Renita. I'm the mother of Rashod Stanley, the Trenches CEO, and this is his story told by me. Rashod, now 26 years old, was born in Atlanta, Georgia. He was raised in the trenches of Perry Homes and Etheridge Court, both low-income government housing. The Trenches is a versatile platform that was all about the individual lifestyle coming up in the trenches. It is not just a clothing line, but mediums for an average person to finally take the stepping stone to be the person they ultimately strive to be. The Trenches is a location, position, condition, or a situation which people find challenging. The Trenches High Fashion was established by Rashod in 2012 at the age of 18, which specialized in street athletic wear. He even created his own logo. He has always been an entrepreneur, starting his own lawn care service at the age of 12. I purchased him a lawnmower and other equipment so that he could pursue his business. When this was no longer what he wanted to do, he persistently visited the local Taco Bell for employment starting at the age of 14. He was finally hired at the age of 16. He seemed to enjoy working there. He had a plan to save his money so that he could open his own store after he graduated from Douglas County High School. I purchased him a car so that he would be able to travel back and forth to work, and he was only responsible for gas. He states his profession chose him, being that fashion is a part of who he is. Coming up, he liked to be the freshest person in the room. He stated he knew he had a gift for fashion when people started asking his opinion on what they should wear. One of his future goals is to have his clothes in a fashion show for Fashion Week. Rashod opened his clothing store located on Bankhead Highway, now called Donna Lee Hollowell Parkway, a high-crime, low-income area, in March of 2015. It was in the same shopping plaza as Club Crucial, owned by the rapper T.I., who is one of his inspirations. He is also inspired by Future, Pharrell, Diddy, and Jay-Z because they understand business and marketing. Rashod sold t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and other apparel at his location. However, he did not start designing until incarcerated. He was determined to become a successful entrepreneur. The sales were great, but he found it hard to keep up with supply and demand. He would tell me, "Mom, I'm selling items, but now I must use the money to purchase more items and pay rent, lights, etc." He never asked me for any financial assistance. I was proud he did this on his own right out of high school. Part of me feels like if I had offered financial assistance, maybe he wouldn't be where he is today. It was at his clothing store in which he got involved with the wrong crowd and would later become arrested for unarmed robbery at the age of 21 in February of 2016. Over a period of 3 days, he and an accomplice robbed several gas stations of cigarettes and lighters. This was a shock to me and a very stupid decision on his part. It hurt me to the core. It was unexpected because Rashod was a good kid, an AB honor roll student. I purchased his first car at the age of 16. He didn't want for nothing. Once they left the store, the police followed them on a high-speed chase. Rashod and the accomplice jumped out of the car and proceeded to run in the opposite direction. The police hit Rashod with his car, which broke his neck and pelvic. Most people paralyzed from this type of injury do not recover. God spared my son. I thank him for sitting him down instead of laying him down. Amen. He was in the hospital for months, and I couldn't see him or talk to him. That pain I do not wish on my worst enemy. Once I finally was able to speak with him, I asked him, what was he thinking, and why would he do this to me? He replied he was high on Xanax and lean, made from prescription cough syrup, and really didn't remember anything. He was sentenced to a maximum term of 20 years in prison to serve 8. His tentative parole month is April 2024. Rashod is remorseful and has since learned from his mistakes. He is now ready to move on with his life as the Trenches CEO. In the past, he designed clothing from scraps and whatever he could get his hands on to do so. Using only a paper clip and dental floss, he has made the impossible very possible. Rashod is incredibly involved in his online business, even while incarcerated. He sends me sketches and ideas he wants for his clothing brand. He is very particular and detail-oriented. Sometimes I feel as if he's the parent coaching me. Although Rashod currently sews his clothes using dental floss and a paper clip, his goal is to make his fashion line shoppable for all. His use of raw materials is highly creative. For example, he was able to use the pleather material on the prison pillowcases to create garments for his line. He also cut out the waistbands in the prison regulation pants to create shirt cuffs and use a state code, that is a code issued by the Georgia Department of Corrections to identify an inmate, to create a pair of pants. If nothing else, Rashod is proof positive that possible to make the best of a bad decision, and incarceration is only in your mind. I'm currently working with the manufacturer to have the clothing he has made while incarcerated created. His current website has the basics of hoodies, joggers, and t-shirts. Even though Rashod went viral, the business is not as profitable as it could be. I think once his gel fashions are added to the site, sales will increase. The website address is www.thetrenches.co. A portion of all proceeds are donated towards giving back to the Trenches community. Even while incarcerated, Rashod planned a back-to-school jam in which we distributed school supplies and over 100 book bags to kids in need this past school season. Rashod wants people to know his story because location doesn't determine destination. This is his motto. When he wasn't working on the trenches, he was always trying to find ways to elevate his hustle. He wants to inspire others to make something out of nothing and reach their full potential without making excuses. He also wants to be a mentor and a public speaker to at-risk kids that's following down the wrong path. He wants to make a name for himself as a fashion designer in the fashion community. Rashod also wants to start a nonprofit organization for low-income communities in Atlanta and eventually expand nationwide. Rashod first went viral April 2019. He had over 10 million views on his Instagram page at 2500 Shod. He also received acclamation from BET, World Star, The Shade Room, and other media outlets. He was punished for having a cell phone, sent to solitary confinement, and transferred from Coffee Correctional Facility to Calhoun Correctional Facility. It was stated he was a threat to security. The second time, March 2020, he was given 30 days in solitary confinement. I posted the videos thinking it would be okay since he had already been punished for the same clothing in the video. In fact, the clothing were confiscated. My intent was to show how talented my son was and to promote his Trenches clothing line. Little did I know the next time would cause him to be moved from Calhoun State Prison and moved to solitary confinement on Tier 2 at Macon State Prison. For the prison fashion show video that went viral, I posted on December 3rd, 2020. He was charged with attempt to escape from making clothes, altering state property, and possession of a state-issued tablet. No cell phone was found in his possession. It was assumed inmates could have walked away unnoticed in those outfits. Tier 2 is a 9-month solitary confinement program for offenders who commit, lead, or pose a serious threat to the safety and security of institutional operations. Not only does he not meet this criteria, this is excessive punishment and in violation of his constitutional rights. It is also double jeopardy since he's previously been disciplined for it. The Georgia Department of Correction was created for rehabilitation. So why is he being punished to the highest severity? I think he was treated unfairly because they felt he had not learned his lesson. I started a GoFundMe to assist with a parole attorney. It is searchable under The Trenches True Story. I also created a petition called Justice for inmate Rashod Stanley, requesting he be removed from solitary confinement. It has close to 9,000 signatures. Knowing what I do now, would I have done things differently? Yes, I would never want to intentionally cause my son any harm. If you ask him was it worth it, he would probably say yes because he has a passion for fashion. He's very ambitious. We have both learned a valuable lesson, and history will not repeat itself. My son is physically incarcerated, but I'm mentally incarcerated. My son wants people to know the trenches is meant to inspire people to find their own happiness without having to succumb to the norms of society. The mission is not just to supply high-quality underground clothing, but to depict overall lifestyle to the best of his ability. The style is meant to symbolize unity, integrity, and clarity of mind. Whenever you get to where it is you plan on going in life, remain humble, count your blessings, and never forget where you came from. Per the Trenches CEO, Rashod Stanley.